Now, I know neuroaesthetics is not a common word, but when I asked my daughter what she thought it was, she's like trying to put the words together, neuro and aesthetics. And she's like, well, when I think of aesthetics, I think of Botox. Okay. So she's like, well, what are you putting a needle in your brain to make your brain better? Like, come on, girl. And then I asked my brother what did he think it was. And he's like, aesthetics sounds like prosthetics. So is it like a fake brain?
Welcome to Unapologetically Fly, the podcast dedicated to giving you the tools, inspiration, and information you need to finally live for yourself, no matter the age, situation, or circumstance. I'm your host, Renee Mitchell Simpson, the self-love and happiness coach and founder of Well Diva Lifestyle and Travel, the premier luxury wellness travel sisterhood for the flyest of aunties. Now get ready to ride along on my journey of reinvention, even at this big age, because sis, I need you to know it truly is never too late to fly. And by fly, I mean finally live for yourself.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Fly. I just want to make sure I had on my mic. Y'all, I am super excited today because we are talking about a topic that I found out that you might be interested in, and that is neuroaesthetics. So this past week, I did one video on neuroaesthetics, and that video has, as of today, almost 2,000 views. So, and a lot of comments and likes. So I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one interested here. So neuroaesthetics is the study of how our brain responds to art, beauty, and design. And to make that a little bit simpler, my interpretation of that would be why we get so excited about home decor. Okay, I'm specifically going with the art, beauty, design. When you put all three of those together, I think home decor. And those who are responding in my comments to the video that I did over the weekend, you are the ones who are also excited about this topic. So you asked for more, and I'm going to give you more. So I'm not a home decor professional, by the way. Let me just put that out there. I said it in the last video, but if you did not catch that, I want to say that I have just always had a love for home decor, but it's not ever been anything that I've done as a career. But when your heart is in something, it's like, maybe I didn't study this, but I feel like I have a natural knack for it. And I think it's just because I'm so passionate about it. So I just wanted to share some of the ideas that I have, some of the reasons behind why I choose what I choose to go into my home. So as you may know, I am huge on travel. That is just like my thing. That's my heart. And so I have just been making sure that when I travel, I bring a meaningful piece back with me to put into my home. And I recently bought my home just 2 years ago. So I'm not finished decorating. I'm far from finished. I'm, still kind of starting. I actually put it on hold for like almost a year. So I got most of what I wanted done in my living room, and I've yet to move on to another room. But when I look around my living room, it excites me because every piece that I have put in here has meaning to it. And there are a few pieces that didn't. And so I'm just slowly replacing those pieces, because the more you bring in pieces that have meaning, the more joy you feel when you enter that room. And when we're out in the world and we come back home, we want nothing but peace and joy in our home. So neuroaesthetics is studying how you create more and more of that peace and joy. And that's probably why so many of us are homebodies now. The pandemic kind of slowed us down and gave us a chance to spend time at home. And some of us fell in love with that. And we have had a hard time getting back out there in the world, because we're able to create so much peace and joy and make every part of our home so incredibly aesthetically pleasing. Like, why go outside? So I had another video where I talked about how I brought my travels home. I have one piece on my wall that I got from Mexico. I have a piece that I got from Tanzania. As I look around the room, it just reminds me of all the places that I've been, and there's like a story to tell behind each one of these pieces. So I think if travel is your thing, it's very, very important that you bring a significant piece home that reminds you of your trip. Just take your time and be careful in what you select, because you never want to spend your money on something that you later don't have a connection to, it doesn't fit in. So you really want to take your time and pick out pieces that are meaningful, that'll fit the space, and that will blend in nicely with everything else in your room. I think it's important that you explore all of your senses in your home decor. And namely, for me, one of the main ones is the sense of smell, because the sense of smell has the strongest memory of all of our senses. So in my home, I'm always burning candles or lighting incense, and those fragrances, they can instantly take you back to a certain place. Like I just got back from France a couple months ago, and I got a candle while I was there. And every time I burn that candle, of course, it reminds me of my enjoyable time in France. And then I have quite a bit of orange blossom oil. Every time I go to Morocco, I make sure I come back with orange blossom oil. Oud I get in the Middle East. So whenever I, spray any of the home sprays that I have, burn the candles or burn the incense, it just kind of transports me to those places. So sense of smell, I think, is very, very important in home decor, because it just really gives you such a feeling and a memory that you want to recreate of a special time or place that you visited. Of course, sight. I mean, design, number one. Decor is number one for decor is sight, but also the sense of touch. The sense of touch is very important. You've got all these different type of textures. If travel is your thing, I think it's a good idea to have like a little kit that you take with you when you travel. And in that kit, you'll want to have a tape measure. You'll want to have photos of the room that you want to decorate, and any fabric swatches of anything that you're trying to match. And keep those items with you when you travel, so that when you see this ideal piece that you think this might be perfect for this room, you'll know if it fits, because you'll have your tape measure. Sorry, I said tape measure. I also meant measurements of the room. Okay, that is super important. So recently I was in Jordan, and I have this huge wall that I call my gallery wall, because I know that's what's going to be. It's going to be my art gallery. And this wall had absolutely nothing on it. So I knew when I saw this piece in Jordan, I was like, you know what, this might be perfect to go on this wall, but the colors don't go, because I had a fabric swatch of my sofa. So I'm like, I think you know your colors in your memory, but sometimes we're a little bit off. So I look at my fabric swatch, I'm like, yeah, no, you don't have anything that's gonna match. But then, and it's so good to speak up, especially when you're in hotels and you see art that you like, always ask if any of their art is for sale, because you just never know. Same thing with restaurants. So I mentioned to the hotel manager that I really like this piece of art. I wish, I could buy a piece, but it doesn't quite go with my decor. Do you have any more? And he's like, yes, we do have more. And he takes me like to different places throughout the hotel, and eventually we land in this, it's like a ballroom, I think it was. And there was the most gorgeous piece of art hanging on the wall that just happened to go with my decor, as far as the color and the style and the size. I was like, yes, this is perfect. And I got it. I put it in my suitcase, brought it on home. So it was actually the first piece that I ended up putting on my gallery wall. And then I saw this arrangement of wall baskets in the shape of Africa. I saw that on Instagram a couple years ago, and I kept that in my saved, your saved folder or whatever for Instagram, and I always refer back to it whenever I bought some baskets. So I ended up finding baskets and fans in Ghana and Kenya. The fans came from Ghana, the baskets came from Kenya. And let me tell you something. They have these baskets on Etsy, but they are way, way more than what you'll pay for them when you travel to Kenya. So just in case you plan on going to Kenya, that's where you want to get your baskets. They had them in Ghana, but Kenya had the best price. But anyway, it was not easy to arrange that on the wall, but I got it done. my daughter and I got it done. That piece is very, very special to me because every time I look at it, of course, I remember my travels to Ghana and Kenya. So that's what I mean. Every piece that you put in your home, if you really take your time, it has meaning behind it, and it just gives you such a wonderful feeling. And that's what neuroaesthetics is all about. Now, a couple of things that I shared in my other video about neuroaesthetics. So, neuroaesthetics includes anything that you consider to be art or a thing of beauty. So, that could be dance, that could be practicing a musical instrument, it could be decorating your home, it could be cooking a meal, decorating a cake, or just being out in nature. Anything that you find to be a thing of beauty, right? Now, you only need to spend 20 minutes doing this thing of beauty to lower your cortisol level. So, what do you do when you share your space with someone and you don't agree on what's aesthetically pleasing in your home? That is difficult. I've dealt with it, and I don't deal with it anymore though. So, yeah, that's a hard one because I don't know. I'm wondering if the person that you partner up with, if you all were an ideal couple, would you find the same things aesthetically pleasing? Because I know with my former partner, husband, we did not agree on what was supposed to be in the house as far as decor. We just totally had different ideas, different things that we liked. Yeah, I was open to finding out more about what he liked, but he was more, like, I don't like that. I don't like that. You know how some people, they can easily tell you what they don't like, but they can't really tell you what they do like. So it was easy for me to see what he didn't like, which was everything that I did like. So I'm wondering, does that work differently with a situation where, you have a great relationship? Maybe you like some of the same things. Interesting, just something to think about. Because I know the more I select the things that I like, the more I feel like I can express myself in my home decor. Whereas before, I felt like I had to hold back. I had to, I had to compromise. I couldn't get the exact color sofa I wanted. I had to get something more toned down in order for us to find something that we both like. So I think that's an interesting part of this whole concept of neuroaesthetics. Like, how do you make that work when you're having to make those kind of decisions with someone else? Just something to think about. So now we know why we get so excited when we go to Home Goods and we see some gorgeous throw pillows, or we keep bringing home new throw pillows because seeing these beautiful things, it really does hit an area of the brain that just brings forth more joy. And what could be better than creating more joy in your life? So I will be exploring neuroaesthetics more and more, and I can't wait to share more of it with you. Leave me any comments or questions that you have. And what's your favorite part of your home that you're decorating? I'd love to know.
Thank you for watching. Now be sure to like, subscribe, share with your besties, and tell me what topics would you like more of in the comments below, so I know I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. I also invite you to join me in the Well Divas on one of our unapologetically fly wellness travel experiences. Visit welldiva.com and select someplace wonderful to meet up with us. Until next time, stay unapologetically fly.